Hello everyone! How are you all doing? How are you all doing today? This live show is going to be a tiny bit different than normal. Normally for the Stichwitch live show we just sit and knit, chat and knit, or crochet. And we're just talking about the projects. You can obviously ask any questions about knitting or crocheting, about the patterns that we're working on in January, February. That is still the case. That is still an option. However, it is also Barbara's challenge weekend over on Barbara's the Bookwork Mother channel and Discord. And I thought it might be fun to also make this reading sprints, so that the people who don't crop but want to read can still do it. That will also solve the problem that I have with this live show. Because knitting, I'm knitting right now. Knitting and talking to you guys is fine. I can still read the comments. That is not going to be a problem. However, for the bags I chose, what I need to do is sew. And I don't think I can sew while I don't look and actually am reading the comments. So if we would to read the challenges for Barbara's challenge weekend, if you would like to. So let me know what you're working on, what you're reading today. If you're doing the weekend challenge, what is your challenge? If you're doing the Stichwitch project, which bag did you choose? Are you knitting? Are you crocheting? I'm very curious. Hello, Ava. How are you? I'm good. I am a tiny bit tired, so we'll see how long I can sprint for. But I was going live anyway, and I thought it might be, fun to do reading sprints 2 days in a row, just because of the challenge weekend. So we're aiming for as long as possible. We'll see. But I'm good otherwise. I just started the challenge today because yesterday I still had to work, and I am doing the disability representation challenge from Herkiet. I have one more book to go. I already read autism, multiple books with people with a tiny arm, or half an arm and then one whole arm, if that makes sense, with dyslexia as well as multiple personality disorder. That was the word I was looking for. So if one left, and I have heard, Natalie's here. Hi, Natalie, this question is for you. I have heard that in A Sky Full of Dragons that I started yesterday is a prominent person that is very hard of hearing. And I was wondering, are they using aids? Do they need help with that on school? Or is it mentioned one and you never see it again in the book? Because I'm thinking about using that one. Otherwise, I will probably use Can You Hear the Sound? I believe is the title, and that is a book that Kate recommended. It's a middle grade about a girl who wakes up deaf one day while she's in a bed. So that's giving all kinds of problems, I assume. So that is it book-wise. But welcome in, Natalie. Welcome in, Larissa. How are you doing? I'm really tired, so no trying to crochet today. Yeah, don't. Let's not make it more harder for you than it is. You don't need that right now. I will pick up my book and see if I can focus on that. Yeah, we will be sprinting, so I hope that helps. Otherwise, audiobook. That if I do not have brain space, that is the only thing that can save it. I am finding a cramped day. Oh, it's terrible today. I'm so sorry. So not very productive. But I just rewrote a blanket pattern to German for a friend. It's almost finished. That is productive though. Need a break after that. Yeah, definitely. But just take it easy. I know it is challenge weekend, but I'm pretty sure Barbara does not want us to, do more than we could. I think she's very happy for us to take it easy on the challenge weekend if we need that. That is your challenge. Sit still. Don't do too much. Project-wise, I'm not sure. I'm having a hard time. This is one of the bags I was making, and I was actually thinking of doing this bag. I just sewn this row on wrong, so I have to get that out and redo it. But I would like to line this bag. So, in my opinion, and it can use more properly. Like, now you have to be very aware that you don't put pens in it because they will fall out, stuff like that. So I would like to line it. But my fabrics are on the attic and I cannot deal with that. I do not have the energy. That is not going to happen this week. And I kind of wanted to get this bag done before a birthday at the end of January. So currently I'm not really motivated to work on this because I can't line it with fabric. So I thought maybe I could do the swatch bag instead. I haven't purchased the pattern yet. I have it up now. I looked it up right now. And I have a stack of swatches already. I don't know if it is enough. I don't know how many I need. But I feel like this could be fun. And then, I have to sew them together somehow. Obviously, the pattern is going to tell me that, I assume. But I have quite a few, so I thought it might be enough. Also, like, this sock is too small, but I like it. So then I can reuse that. I really like that idea. So maybe I can do that. I just have to buy the pattern then, which is fine. I knew I was going to buy the pattern, so I have money to buy the pattern. I set some aside for that. And then I can just sew on the sprint because otherwise I cannot sew stuff while reading comments. I cannot. I still need to take down laundry and figure dinner out, take the trash out, but I'm so not productive today as we say next to myself in the bed. Oh, I'm sorry. I hate when that happens. Yeah, fighting with yourself is the hardest thing. And I feel like you're not the only one today. Honestly, I had a hard time starting today. I was also fighting myself a bit. So yeah, I'm okay now. But my day basically started at like 3 in the afternoon before I won that fight. There is a character with hearing impairment. I think it's mentioned twice. Once their hearing aid is explained. Oh, but they have an ear hearing aid. I think then it counts enough. Like that is significant enough. Not like they're hard of hearing. You have to talk a bit louder and then it's fine. That I wouldn't have counted. A secondary friend stands in for that aid to not be taken away. Oh, I love that. Or, that the friend does that. So it's there, but not probably or as team that's really talked about a lot. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a team of the book. So that is helpful. I just don't want it to be, we have to talk a bit louder and then it's fine. Like I want it to be significantly hearing impaired, so that the character needs help with that in some way. So a hearing aid would count. I'm one of the Harry Potter books. There are in the Dobby shoes. Oh, as a project. They're cute. I don't think it's in one of those books that I got. I can't remember seeing them. It's not a regular hearing aid though. It's like not at all. Finwonder. Oh, that is exciting. I like that. That is exciting. I think I'm gonna go with that one then. Because I'm already in that book. I would like, obviously next week is the live show for that. So I would kind of want to read it. And then I can also spin the wheel again and do another challenge maybe this week. Hopefully. That is the plan. Let me see. I have four hours and 42 minutes left, so suck. In one of the Harry Potter books, there are Dobby socks. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I think I've seen, I don't know. Let me check. I have to check if they're in mine. There are so many sock patterns that I would like to try. It's insane. You have only the knitting books, right? Let me see if it is in my knitting book. No, they're not in my knitting book. Is that what you're making today? Oh, did you see that? I was hoping to see it then. While we chat, I'm working on this. I have 2 more rows to go, and then I can cast on stitches for under the underarms and join the body in around. So that will be the second sweater that I'm joining in around of all the sweaters that were cast on. So that makes me very happy. I'm very pleased with that. But I think I'm just gonna buy the pattern for the swatch bag. I'll find it. Thank you. I like the color you're using. Thank you. It's from the Wednesday yarn countdown. These were obviously not working with my black base color. So these are the 2 colors that I had left. And I decided to use them with white. I cannot do the full sweater with them. But I bought more black yarn to fill it out. And that should be enough. €7 the pattern is. Because it says it in Danish krone. Let's see. Let's see. What's your favorite movies? Alice in Wonderland. Like, yeah. That's number one for sure. That's the movie I've watched the most. That is my comfort movie. I will go to every single time I don't know what to watch. And Nightmare Before Christmas. Also, I love the black and white Frankenstein. And Hocus Pocus. I'm very basic. And then the number of swatches varies because it depends on the material. So, do I have to cut in my yarn? Like, that is very scary. Maybe read it first. I just watching pictures and I'm already like, oh no, I'm sorry. Do I have to cut in it? No hesitation. Yeah, there was no hesitation there. Alice in Wonderland every single day. I'm sorry, guys. I'm obsessed. And more so with the movie than with the books. In the book, she's kind of whiny. I do love the retelling though. Because usually she's not whiny there. Alright, but this is exactly how I sew. Project bags, and they're not being round, so that is very interesting. Alright, so you're basically making a puzzle of swatches. I actually like that. Alright. Just to crochet, would it be worth it to try knitting? Yes. I would always say that if one craft is hard, it is worth to try another. Obviously it also depends. If you're struggling with holding your yarn and the thing you're making, as well as your crochet hook, and you find that part fiddly, I think it is definitely worth try knitting because it is more sturdy there because you have 2 needles. For me, it is easier to envision what it's gonna be and how it's gonna look with crochet because of the 3D effect. But other people find it easier to envision that in knitting. So it is just about how your brain is clicking with stuff, what is clicking in your brain and what is not. So I definitely think it is worth it. Unless it is hard for you because the yarn is a sensory issue. If it is hard because your fingers, you feel icky that the yarn passes your fingers, you have that with both crafts. So if that is the problem, then it's probably not worth it. I'm having trouble with the tension of the thread and keeping the loop on the hook. Yeah, that is a very typical beginner's problem, so you're not alone. Don't worry about that. And knitting might be easier because it is less loose. Obviously, there is still gonna be tension struggles in the beginning. That is how it goes. That is how this craft works. But because it is both on 2 needles, they're just there. Obviously, when you put them like this, they can slip off. That can happen with knitting, and it probably will in the beginning at some point. But the stitches are on the needles, and there are more stitches on the needles. The needle also holds the fabric a bit stiffer together, so it is easier to hold it. So I think it might help. But obviously the tension of these stitches is still depending on how tough you pull on the thread or how loose you have the thread. That is kind of the same with crochet and knitting. What does change is how you hold it. And this feels a bit sturdier to hold it. If that makes sense. No sensory issues, luckily. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, but like if it's a sensory thing, it's not gonna help. It's still yarn. it's still gonna be a sensory thing. It might help to change your needles because some yarn is squeaky on certain needles. But otherwise than that, the sensory issue is gonna stay if you have it. Well, this is Wednesday. I did not, in the Wednesday yarn countdown, she put stitch markers, but not the needle stoppers. And I kind of needed needle stoppers from Wednesday then, I found. Like, obviously I don't. There you are. But I kind of did, Like, I have needle stoppers on now, but I wanted Wednesdays so bad. And I felt like it fitting with the Wednesday yarn countdown and Wednesday stitch markers, and I have Wednesday project bags, and I like things so much. So I bought these, as well as another pair of Wednesdays needle stoppers. Like on Temu or something for like €3. And they're really fun, and I use them all the time. All right, I'm not sure if this pattern is worth it if you know how to sew. You have sewn project bags together. It is basically that, but then laying on your swatches on the pattern. Knit the swatches together and then do the same as you would normally. And then here's the drawstring casing. All right, that is. I still need to do that. They're really nice. And the thing is with Temu, if you order them, you never know what needle size they fit on. Some have, like, they're beads, and they have holes in the top and the bottom. And some have bigger holes than others. if you want to fit them on sock needles, you need small holes. So they don't all fit on sock needles, but that is a bit of a gamble. But they will fit on your regular needles. And like half of it does fit on my sock needles. So these do. Wondering if they would do a Wednesday knitting book. I don't know. I have seen a Wednesday cookbook. If they would do anything with Wednesday, I think it's gonna be crochet, because a lot of pieces in the Wednesday series are actually crocheted, and they're actually bought by sellers who made them handmade on Etsy, like the snoot and stuff. So I feel like if they're gonna do it, it's probably gonna be a crochet book. But yeah, I would still buy that in a heartbeat. That is absolutely true. The amount of times I have sat with that cookbook in hand, and I was like, am I gonna do it? But I try to limit myself in cookbooks. I'm not there with knitting books and crochet books though, because I don't have many yet, so I feel like it's okay. But yeah, I would buy that in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Let's where is my there it is. Let's go to the timer. And let's go for the first sprint. So everybody who wants to read can read. Everybody who wants to crochet and knit while listening to an audiobook can also do so. But also, if you want to do anything else, feel free. Just relax. Also fine. And I will see you all in 45 minutes. Hello. How did you all do? I measured the pattern, cut it out, and then I rearranged all my swatches. I just had exactly enough swatches. Like there's none left. However, I don't like it. I think it's too much for me. I think I would like it better if the swatches were color coordinated. Right now, I struggle with it, if I'm completely honest, and I don't really like it. This would be one side. And then this would be the other side. But I think it's just too much, or at least it is for me. I think I would like it better if, all the blues were together. And if the browns and the greens were together, and like the pinks and the purples, but not like all 6 together, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure. Because then I have to make swatches, and I don't really want to do that. I kind of wanted to have this back pattern specifically so that the swatches I make don't go to waste, if that makes sense. And I will make new swatches, so, I don't know what to do now. So please help me out. I hope you saw me still saying good, have fun, but I do hope you have fun. Hello everyone, welcome back, Judith. Home from my mom's birthday party. Oh, I hope that was fun too. It sounds like a lot of fun. Hello Paula, how are you doing? Hug the like button, thank you. I'll be starting on the striped version of the crochet project bag. Nice. I'll be making with lilac on the bottom and dark purple and off-white stripes. Oh, that does sound really good. That sounds really good. Maybe that's what I need to do. But, find my... I have yarn upstairs, obviously. Maybe just, knit or crochet a full new bag. I already have a lot of projects on me, so I was like, well, why not finish one of the bags? But now it looks like I can't finish both of them and be happy with them. That is I can finish them, but I will probably not be happy with them. But the purple stripes sounds great. And that was the last row I needed now. Yes. Now I can put them together and join them in a round. So that is great. I like that. I like that a lot. I made the magic loop on first row because I did some laundry in the washing machine first, so I won't have to do that tomorrow. That is smart. That is smart. I also need to decide between blue or purple bag, and because I have more of purple, I chose purple. That is a smart decision. That is great. I also want to make a tiny whale pouch later on, so I kind of need a blue for that one. Oh yeah, smart. Smart. It sounds cute though. It sounds so cute. Dinner's in the oven. Trash has been taken out and dishes are done. That is a very productive sprint, Larissa. Well done. That's great. I am also listening to Sky Full of Dragons. We just arrived at the magic school. So that is also fun. It was fun until loads of kids under the age of 4 came. Oh yeah, then it's hard. But we survived and are yeah, well, that's busy. That's definitely gonna be busy. Oh boy. Work across the front stitches. The problem is with, yet again, starting a new back project. My mind also immediately goes to, well, there was one back in the Harry Potter knitting and crochet book you really wanted to make for that friend that, you're now not making that other back pattern for. Could you just not do that? But that is color work. And I don't really want to add projects. I have quite a few right now. Although I would like a project bag made by me. I think a knitted or crocheted project bag would be really cute. I'm trying to get through my sweat. Oh, this is stockinette after this. The other one is already in stockinette mode. So that's great. And I only have one left that is shaping wise. And then I will buy new yarn on the 6th of February. And then I'll have another colorwork sweater on the needles. But I do not have a crochet project. So. I do still have socks on. On the needles too. I have a lot of projects currently. A colorwork scarf. Like I would like to not finish, that is not realistic, but like get further in the scarf colorwork wise before the sweater. I just really wanted to knit knit what I had, or sew what I had knitted, and then have a bag. Why is that not working out for me? Why are they making it so hard? Maybe if I make it smaller. Mm-hmm. Plan to make a Hello Kitty scarf for my sister. Her birthday is in February. That is so cute. I like that. But you need to get the pink yarn for that first. Yeah. Hello Kitty is so cute, right? Oh, there are so many cute patterns. That is the problem. That is the problem. She's a big fan of Hello Kitty, so she will. Yeah, she will go crazy for it. I love that. That makes it worth it, right? I don't mind making stuff if people are spending loads of, hours and hours and hours on it, as long as they like it. And appreciate that it is handmade and it took long. I'm happy to do it. This creator has made the same bag I'm trying to make, and I really liked her one. So now I'm seeing if I can find it, because it's not on the project page on Ravelry, so hopefully she has it on her Instagram. I heard of Shikawa? No, what is it? Judith hasn't heard of it, but apparently Googled it and it looks cute. It's mostly white and gray. Alright, so I tend to like the ones in either neutral colors or one group of colors, like pink, all kind of pinks or all kind of purples. That is not helpful. I did Google it. Yes, you were like, you were false. That has to be a Google search, right? It has cute little creature, similar to Hello Kitty, but you have to see it on the scent. But many people do love it. Let me see it now. I'll Google it. Alright. Oh, one has actually a head that looks like Romy. Oh, and I don't know how I'm not great with Hello Kitty. I only know it because I made chocolates for it. That's how I know some of the character names, but also the dog from Hello Kitty. That is. There's a creature that has the same head. Let me see, maybe I can do the small size. Alright, I'll try to do that. Alright. Let's set up another timer. Let's go for another 45 minutes. Happy crafting, happy reading, happy taking care of yourself, whatever you need to do. And I will see you in 45 minutes.
Dragon can have horns on their face, back, or tail. Sometimes they even have them on their feet, which is why you hardly ever see dragons wearing shoes. There have been many things said about dragons. That they can see in deep water, that they eat the stones of ancient ruins, that their hearts are made of stardust, that they are nothing more than haunted birds. I don't suppose there have been as many myths and legends made up about any other creature. It has even been said that stars are the eyes of dragons, staring down upon the world. Here they come, Egypt meowed loudly and held tight to the ends of her linen. As the dragons landed on the ground, the earth shook, and tiny pebbles exploded up around their feet. So this is where earthquakes come from, Egypt said, as the dragons laid their giant wings down, bending the tall blades of grass. Hartshorn is over there, I said, finally spotting him. He looked so small as a dodo surrounded by dragons. He had a piece of parchment clipped to a board and was writing with a double-feathered quill. We stepped carefully as we walked in between the dragons. They were out of breath from their long flights, and their bellies heaved in and out. Egypt kept an eye on them as she said, I worked with a dragon once while building a pyramid. We had just finished placing the last stone when the dragon burst. The gust of it was so strong, it knocked the pyramid down. We had to start all over again. He was very sorry about it, but when it happened 3 more times, we came to the conclusion that dragons don't make the best pyramid builders. I couldn't help but laugh as Egypt made sure to watch out for any burping dragons. Good morning, Wand Keeper Spella. Hartshorn looked up from his clipboard when he saw us. I have not seen Head Wander Folklock yet, but I told the chatty Clematis to tell her that I need to see her as soon as she's back in her office. For the time being, there are some of the other teachers. He used his wing to point to a group by the castle. You will call them Wanders. Some of them have taught here for a long time, like Wander Acidelia Mummyheart, who has the shadow of a sphinx, and Wander Fortuna Fairycrumb. She's that tiny one flying. I have been around wand witches and wizards before, when they'd come to our house for hats, and no matter how many times I saw a wand keeper, I always got excited to see their wand shadows crackling with bolts of lightning. You know, many have said that I should be a teacher, Egypt said, standing taller. I am rather wise, if I say so myself. Hartshorn looked at her before scratching his beak slowly and saying, I'll let you know if any positions open up. As I watched the group of teachers, one stepped forward, Wander Mummyheart. She was staring at the stone bridge that connected the castle to the other side of the river. I just then noticed a crowd of people on the bridge. They stood up against the iron gates that closed the entrance to the school. Who are all those people? I asked Hartshorn. Protesters, he said. We expected there might be some for the students' arrival, but we didn't anticipate there would be so many. Signs and banners had been enchanted to float above the protesters' heads. The signs were written with things like, No to plant magic, and Don't ruin dragons now. Some of the signs had images of plants and herbs crossed out in big black X's with, We don't want your plant life, keep our magic purified, written beneath. A few of the protesters held unicorn horns in their hands and chanted, Leave our cauldrons alone! Our spells are not yours to own! I looked back at Wander Mummyheart. She was frowning at the protesters. Then she held up her hand and her sphinx shadow jumped into it with a blaze of lightning, instantly turning into a wand that had the sphinx's face. I knew from seeing wands before that they always looked like the creature that had made them. One time I'd seen a wand that was as winding as a snake's body, with a little tongue that hissed on the end, and another time I saw a wand with enough tentacles to be at home in the sea. When the creatures were shadows, they were silhouettes, so you saw their features whenever the lightning bolts cut through. But once they turned into wands, you got to discover their feathers, talons, scales, or eyes in vibrant colors. She's casting a spell, I said, as I watched Mummyheart's lips moving. We were too far away to know what the spell was, but I knew it must have been an old one, because she spit onto her wand, then touched it to her right elbow. You only spit on your wand and touch your elbow when you're casting the oldest of the old spells. Then she held her wand high, and sand fell from the tip of it. The sand flew in a swirling cloud over to the bridge and knocked the protesters' signs down. As the signs fell, some of the protesters grew angrier and tried to climb over the gate to the school, but like the front door of the castle, the gate had feet, and would use them to encourage those who got too close to move back. Wander Mummyheart laughed as her wand became a shadow once more. Even though they may be protesting the start of our school year, Hartshorn said, we have a record-breaking enrollment of first wands. I am optimistic that there will be many who find hope in what we're trying to do here. He looked up at me, his small dodo eyes searching my face. Wand Keeper Spella, if I may be so bold, he said, was the reason you didn't open your invitation because you don't approve of Dragon's Knob being a school for plant magic only? No, I said quickly. That wasn't why at all. I didn't want to come here because I didn't want to leave uncauldronized and all my friends, like the ants, and Egypt, of course. She purred against my leg. I'm sure you'll make lots of new friends here, Hartshorn said, returning to his clipboard. He might have been sure about that, but I wasn't. I looked around at the other kids sliding off their dragons. Some of the students already knew each other. They collected in groups and started to talk excitedly about the ride there. A few who passed by stared at my freckles. I picked up Egypt and held her in front of my face, so I could peek out above her linen. I knew which students were 10 years and older. They, like the Wanders, had their wand shadows, already hatched from the eggs. These students also came dressed in their cloaks from the previous years. They had fabric badges sewn onto them. Some also had badges sewn onto their scarves, hats, and bags. The badges were brightly colored and in different shapes and sizes. I saw one that looked like a long-necked dinosaur. Another was in the shape of a toad that had a star on his back. One student had a badge that looked like a cauldron boiling over, and there were several that were like potion bottles. A few of the students carried albums under their arms that were titled Badge Book. Students who perform well during the school year are rewarded with them, Hartshorn said, once he noticed me staring at the badges. Whenever you collect a badge, you can put it on your cloak or scarf, or even your hat. You can also put them in an album and trade them with your fellow classmates. In the past, students who received the most badges were allowed to do special things. Sometimes it was a field trip to the mountains to watch a herd of Pegasuses fly by, or you could ride a pirate boat down the river. He looked up at a dragon flying crookedly over our heads, then quickly wrote something down on his clipboard. But that's all changed this year, he said. Though the badges will still be handed out, there will be no special field trips that only a few will be allowed to go on. Now the badges can be turned in at the Wrinkled Pumpkin. It's a little store Headwander Folklock has started. Everyone will have the opportunity to exchange badges for things like candies or little potions. One might even earn enough for a new flying broom or cauldron. I quite like the change. I always thought it was a little unfair that some of the students got to see and do things that others did not. Because in the past, the badges weren't always handed out fairly. The former Headwander had favorite students, and he would make sure they got the most badges, even if they didn't earn them. He pointed toward the cloak of a passing student. See those lumpy green badges? He asked. Those are called troll bookers. They're usually the first badges a student can earn. They're quite easy to get, for things like showing up to class on time. Kids like to trade them the most. Troll bookers? I remembered the boogers on Cauldron Eyes had given me the day she disappeared. I quickly reached into the pocket I had put them in, but when I pulled them out, I discovered they weren't boogers anymore. They were badges. Aunt Cauldron Eyes had given me my first ones for the new school year. Thanks, Aunt Cauldron Eyes, I whispered to her, wherever she was. I tucked the badges safely back into my pocket, just as I heard a boy shouting. This stupid dodo kept getting lost like he hasn't been here 1,000,001 times by now, the boy said. He had just landed on a silver dragon who had a tiny pair of wire-rimmed eyeglasses slipping off his nose. When the dragon transformed back into a dodo, I saw he had silver feathers and a beak that was a bit droopy. His aged eyes squinted behind the glasses. That's Magus, Hartshorn said to me. He's the oldest dodo working here. Like Hartshorn, Magus had silver scars around his ankles. I quickly noticed that all the dodos did. The school really should retire them once they're old enough to forget where the dang castle is, the boy said. He was dressed formally in a blazer that had a crest with the image of a cliff against a night sky. Being a magical hat maker, I recognized the fabric of the sky as being nightcloth. Footnote: nightcloth is a fabric cut from the evening sky. Because of this, the fabric moves with images of the stars and moons. I knew the boy had elves in his lineage because of the slight point in his right ear. I also knew he had one of the latest hairstyles. It was called the wolf snout, because the hair was curled high into a tunnel on top of the head until it looked like a snout. Shorter pieces of hair were spiked into fangs. A sprinkle of howling dust meant the hair could howl at night. I'd only learned about the style when a couple of werewolf hairdressers had come in to get new hats. I've heard there's a waiting list for those shoes, Egypt whispered to me, as she used her paw to point to the boys' sneakers. The shoes had squishy balls on the sides that, when you pumped them, inflated the bat wings on the heels. The shoes were called bat blasters and didn't do magic, except to let everyone know that you had something they didn't. Worst of all, they were said to be made from unicorn leather. Who was that mean boy? I asked Hartshorn. Grackle Nightcliff, he said. His family is old money. Their factory manufactures ingredients. What do you mean by ingredients? I asked. Like cinnamon and stuff? No, Wandkeeper Spella, Hartshorn said. Ingredients like unicorn horn, dragon hearts, and troll eyes. The types of ingredients we no longer use here at Dragonsnog, thank goodness. I wasn't surprised to hear Grackle's family bottled creature parts once I saw Grackle's dragon eye ring on his right hand. The shimmering green and black hide of the dragon's skin made the ring band. The eye itself was large with a wrinkled eyelid. I knew the eye had come from a cave dragon because of the red pupil that glowed in the middle of the yellow and orange iris. The eye stared back at me. Anyone who wears a cave dragon's eye is keeping secrets, Egypt said in her most mysterious voice. It's true, Hartshorn added. Cave dragons are notorious for collecting secrets in their caves. If you pluck an eye from a cave dragon, You have an eye that will always be on the lookout for hidden things, and it will gather them for you. Hartshorn turned to the sound of another dodo calling his name. Wand Keeper Stella, he said. I've got to go around and check off the last arrivals. I will let you know as soon as I hear of Head Wonder Folklog's return. He wobbled off into the crowd with his clipboard. Oh, you stupid, stupid bird, Grackle shouted at Magus, who struggled with the clothing trunk. Unable to bear the weight, Magus dropped it, causing clothes to spill out. You're pathetic, Grackle yelled, and stomped his foot, causing the laser lights in the sole of the shoe to flash. The lights were another thing that made the shoes popular, though they were also said to attract moths if the shoes were worn at night, which always made me giggle at the thought. I'm sorry, Wand Keeper Grackle. Magus started to pick up the clothes. I quickly put Egypt down and ran over to help the old dodo. Stop being mean to him, I said to Grackle. I picked up a large pile of his clothes and shoved them into his hands. Don't you know who I am? Grackle dropped the pile back down to the ground. Who are you? I asked. A toeswort? A unicorn's fart? A goblin's spitball? He snarled at me as another boy appeared. He had an equally popular hairstyle called the centaur flip. It was named for the mound of hair that sat high on his head and was curled back with jelly until it was shiny and slick. This boy wore his hooded cloak on one shoulder so that it fell to the side of him. The cloak looked like a tiger, and it worked any time the boy flipped it up. It was just as expensive as the bat sneakers. I see you've been making new friends, Grackle, the boy said with a smirk. As I handed Magus a shirt to put in the trunk, the old dodo said to me, Thank you for helping me, Wand Keeper. Before I could say you're welcome, Grackle grabbed the shirt out of Magus's hand and held it up toward the other boy. Look at this, he said. They've gotten mud all over my new clothes. Grackle shook the shirt in Magus's face. I'm sorry, Wand Keeper Grackle, Magus said. What did you say? Grackle loomed over the bird. He said he was sorry. I stepped forward to stand between him and the old dodo. Grackle threw the shirt back down into the mud and said, If it wasn't my family's tradition to graduate from Dragon's Knob, I would not be here. Both my father and I agree this new plant magic and folklore are going to ruin the school. The boy beside him nodded and tossed his cloak so it growled. I'd like to be out there with them, he said, nodding toward the protesters on the bridge. I wouldn't be here at Dragon's Knob either if my parents hadn't made me come. They think plant magic is a good thing. I returned to helping Magus pick up the clothes and whispered to him, Who was the boy with Grackle? But the old bird didn't hear so well. When I repeated it, I had to say it loud enough that the boy heard. I'm Sly Wolf-Ice. He raised his cloak, causing it to roar again. My family owns Wolf-Ice Media. We publish the newspapers The Daily Cackle and The Midnight Cackle. I'm sure you've heard of them. He looked at my clothes. Instead of expensive sneakers, I had old boots crusted with mud that grew fuzzy ferns and were full of creatures like blastworms and pixies that kept leaking out. He looked at my shorts and t-shirt, both of which had patches over old rips. Added to that, my vest and pockets were overflowing with things I had collected, which I'm sure to him looked like nothing more than throwaway baubles. Certainly nothing as new as the cloak he wore. What do your parents do? He asked, then smiled as if he already knew. Let me guess. They repair rooms or polish columns, something like that, right? I was based on his little audience, I said. The greatest magical hat maker ever. Magical hat maker? Grackle said, before leaning over to whisper something to Slife. Together they laughed. You're brave, Stella, uncalled Rice's voice echoed in my ears. You've climbed the tallest tree in the forest. You've outrun the fastest cheetah. I took a deep breath, her words fueling me as I said, You two sound like a couple of trolling buffy fish. around her neck. The feathers matched the ones covering her sleeves. Her shoulder pads reminded me of the plump velvet pincushions we had back in the attic. Tinkling from each of her shoulder pads was a fringe of small skeleton keys that matched the buttons on the side of her very long skirt, which was covered
Hello. I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And I walked away to find out the pattern. So I only saw that I was not muted when I got back in chat. I'm so sorry. That's why if anybody muted me, this is your sign that we're back. I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I cannot find my tin. I have a Nightmare Before Christmas tin with all my Addams Family stitch markers in it, but I can't find it. It's annoying me, but I have to let go for now. Obviously, I'm not great at letting it go. I made the pattern smaller for the back, but I still didn't have enough. But I definitely like it better when I had swatches color coordinated. So that is my sign to wait until I have enough swatches to color coordinate them for a project bag, and then just make a small size. So yeah, I will not be making that bag right now. So I have continued to join the front and the back on the sweater. But I had to find a lot for that too. So I'm not even done with that. Almost. Almost though. We're getting there. This is what still has to join. Dinner has been eaten and I did my Duolingo because the owl was threatening me. Oh, that's damn owl. Oh, I got so nervous from that owl, so I stopped. Yeah, that will do it. That he is very persuasive though. That will do it. And I'm a bit in I don't know. Shall I do one more sprint or not? In the next sprint, then I will probably need to find new yarn for crochet project bag, since I cannot make the other bag. So I will be upstairs again and not here. And I don't know how long that obviously takes, so if I can actually start it or not. I can definitely not do more than one more sprint. So that will be the last. No, April already went to bed, so I'm not sure, if you guys still are up for one or not. There we go. I put Nick to bed and I'm around 5 of the project bag. Nice. Well done. Well done. I'm very curious about it. Do you think it's an easy pattern? Like, does it feel easy? Is it very readable? I'm debating with stopping with Duolingo since exercise are made with IE. Yeah. Yeah, I also don't know if that is gonna help speaking the language then, if it is made with IE, because it was already a bit not always as useful in Duolingo, right? But if it's gonna be made with IE, like IE is still learning to communicate like us, so and communicate like if we communicate, it's still needing to learn what we want. So how could it learn or a human language if it hasn't learned it itself yet? If that makes sense. All right, yeah, this is. I'm going to bed soon. I have the early shift next week. Yeah, I also don't want to go to bed too late. That's also my thing. And I had late shifts all week. I have late shift next week too. But I kind of. Yeah, I was flipping my schedule. And I kind of want to don't do that. So this is a good moment to stop it. And so it doesn't get worse next week. If that makes sense. It's it is a very easy so far. It's single crochet and increasing the back loops in the round. Oh, so I'm using a stitch marker to see where the first stitch is. Yeah, I always do. I always have fun. That's what I was looking for. Here, go on. I do that, but that is good then. Is it on big needles? I haven't checked because then it is not gonna be as long. So yeah, then I think it is doable. I really wanted to just use what I have, but since for one I cannot access the fabric and I have enough swatches but I don't like them together, so then I'm not going to use the bag, and that is a pity. I'd rather just wait. I had sent in a word that I need to translate was okay and oh and I and like what's the point? Yeah. Yeah, I get that. That doesn't seem useful or helpful at all. Fair enough. But I think this is the last. This was the last print then. I'm sorry. I didn't realize sooner. That happens sometimes, right? When you're going on how it feels and how much you can do or not. Let's put it in my planners. There we go. I'm using the 3.5 millimeter like she does in the pattern, but I'm sure for me she should. Yeah, but I was more thinking about 6, 7, or 8. But honestly, I've made basket before, and that is basically the same. It is just, you know, a very tall basket. And then you probably fold it double on the top to put the cord in. I assume that is what is the case, but I can check. So I might make it on bigger needles. It depends on the yarn I have, I guess. Yeah, I accidentally pressed railway away. So I have to refine the pattern. Alright, that is fun. Worked flat at the top, then I folded down a whip stitch to use the dowel string. That is easy. You can do that. That's, yeah, you know, doesn't, I can adjust the stitches if necessary with a bigger hook. Although crocheting back like also. Oh yeah, it's easy. Yeah, I might do that, but with bigger needles. It is not that hard, or it doesn't look that hard. Alright, that is it for tonight. Thank you all for joining me in the Stichwitch project. Joining me for sprints, letting me know how your challenge weekend is going. I had loads of fun with you guys here. And I hope it was fun for you guys too. I will see you all tomorrow. I will be sprinting again from 7 till at least 10. Might be 11. We will see. I definitely want to finish A Sky Full of Dragons tomorrow. And then see if I can do another wheel spin for her yet. Thanks your host is when I sleep young. Sleep tight, everyone. Have a good night or rest of your day. Thank you for listening. I'll send an update picture on Discord for my project day before I go. Oh yes, please. Yes, Judith. Thank you. That makes me happy. I'm going to start it tomorrow. If you need anything, Larissa, let me know. I'm off. I'm off until Thursday. So please feel free to reach out to me and ask me any questions you think is stupid. It's not. You can ask me anything. Don't you worry about it. Sleep yummy, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.